What's up, everybody? This is Coach Drew Cost, and I got a special guest on this podcast. Today, it's a guy that I follow, I admire, I'm inspired by his presence on social media. So I know if his presence on social media is strong, his presence in real life is even better. So, Marlon, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having
Um,
me on, man.
I'm
Appreciate
good,
it.
man. We're honored, man. I can't wait for this episode to release to give people some good information. So let's just jump into it. So Marlon, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay. So I'm from Hartford, Connecticut, W Square Projects. My father was a known welterweight champion boxer out
Nice.
of Hartford. He's out of Bellevue Square as well. Um, and just from there, just trying to continue his legacy in the last name.
Nice, nice.
I don't know, not in sports, but in other things.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, Marlon, I don't know, I didn't see any boxing videos. You box?
Nah, man, never.
Oh,
It's funny. I actually wanted to when I was younger, but he didn't want me to box, so
for
didn't turn out that way. Not a boxer.
yeah. You should do some fitness boxing. It's a lot different than like going in a ring. Going in the ring is a
Yeah, you're not going against somebody, another opponent. I'm sure just
just
hitting
yourself.
pads and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's total difference. I would never get
Yeah.
in the ring and fight somebody myself, but I'm not built.
Nah,
I'm not
it,
built like that. So
it's,
my question, my main question is, I follow you on social media.
mhm.
I usually I'm always inspired and intrigued because a lot of the stuff that you post, they're thought provoking things, and I think that's important in our world because you're not out here just like shooting out information. You're like, think about this, figure
Yep.
out your opinion on it. Where does that come from? Where you share thought provoking things?
Just to see how I'm seeing how the world is going. From when I was younger, growing up in the '80s and '90s, early '90s, it's just a lot different. I don't know if technology is, it's kind of like the gift and the curse. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
some are using it, you know, for informational purposes, and trying to learn and educate themselves higher and things that they couldn't find out, that you could just, it's right there in front of you. You can Google it or whatever, whatever you use to find out
Mm-hmm.
information, you can find out. But then you have some people that they just want attention, and I think
Mm.
that is what's you know that's how the world is changing, from, I guess, you could say, just more just negative energy in
Mm-hmm.
that way. Yeah.
So I agree. I agree. Now, how did you find a way to not fall into like the same trap of I'm just gonna be like everybody else? How did you find a way not to fall into that trap?
Just always being myself. um I don't know. I think more people from our era, we know who we are more. We were like, you could say, probably the last of where our parent generation, the whole '60s and '70s,
Yep.
and some early '80s. That generation was, I like how it was, before, and things are just a lot different. Um,
Mm.
Geez, it's a lot, man. Me personally, like for my kids, I just try to, be a more positive role model for
Mhm.
them, and trying not to, be like other people, so they could look up to me and want to do the things I do, especially because I have girls.
Yeah. Having girls is a different ball game.
Yeah,
So, which brings me to my next question, right? You mentioned your dad, and
yeah,
you when you mentioned him, you spoke positive about him. As
yeah.
as we both know, most men or most black men don't have or have never had father figures. So, how does that impact on how you raise your daughters?
So there's things that I wouldn't do that my father, did. But he was young too. He was
Yep.
young when he had me. So, he was learning how to be a father as well. And his father, he's a military man, very conservative. Uh, just like any other parent back then, a lot of discipline was involved, a lot. And with my girls, I tried to just be around more. My father, he was traveling a lot, but I looked up to him like a superhero because
Mm,
all his accomplishments that he gained, and success that he gained, and just being young and full of confidence, motivation. Those are the things that, because I'm an older parent, so those are the things that I show my daughters. I tell them that, it's important to me to be number one in life. Now
yeah.
in sports it's different with kids too, like now everybody gets a trophy. And in the real world,
Yeah, it's not happening.
everybody don't get no trophy. Nobody remember number two. I mean, but
Yeah.
long as you put your heart in it and you try your best, at that's what I try to tell them. Like, you're not going to always win, so learn, take your losses as well, and respect that you tried, have some honor that you tried, and you gave it your
Mm.
all. So
So I want to stay there for a second because I'm also a believer. I'm not a believer in participant trophies.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
yo, you lost. Take that L and
yeah,
go
yeah.
and
Take it out, like,
take an L. Go eat it and go learn. Go learn
yeah,
from it because you'll learn more. Now, how do you find that? How do you deal with that when it comes to kids? Because like you either got the father that's like completely pissed off that you lost, or
yeah.
the dad that don't care if you win or lose. Like how do you balance that
Me,
situation?
I mean, I don't get upset. I'm passionate, like with my daughter. She plays soccer and she made it to travel league,
Nice.
and she gets up. She looks at me, when she feel like their team lost. She's upset, but my reaction, she doesn't want to disappoint me.
Oh,
So she'll wait till she get in the car and cry, or wait till we get home and cry about it, instead of doing it out there. You know what I mean? And letting the other kids see her do that. But I tell her, it's all right to cry. Like,
that's
you
a
know what I'm
skill. That's a
saying? There's
that's a
nothing wrong.
skill though.
Yeah, it's all right. And my wife as well. She'll tell her, there's always the next day. You're gonna just go out there and try your hardest. Get your team motivated as well. She's a real team player, and she tells me, like, I don't want to be number two. I want the trophy. I want to be the best. And that,
Nothing wrong with
like, I
that.
seen she got a ball kicked in her face, and she looked at me, and I said, shake it off. She shook it off. All right. And then she, like, after the practice, she was she said, Daddy, you see I took the ball to the face. I didn't even cry. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with crying. I don't want her to be like, no emotion, but and plus I'm raising girls. It's not like a boy. You know what I'm
It's
saying? You want
totally
them to be
different.
tough. You know,
It's
but
totally different.
yeah, exactly. Those they're my heart, man. And I got an oldest too. She's 20, and she's doing her thing as well. And I try to be just positive. Be a role model, just be a good parent, and just let them know, like, you can, there's nothing wrong with being number one. I don't care what nobody tell you. Well, my teacher said, okay, that's what your teacher told you.
Yeah, teacher
But
lying.
at the end of the day, like, when you get older and you go through life, you're gonna take L's, and you gotta learn how to handle it now.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And like what you're seeing, there's people that don't know how to take L's, and that's why we have so much killing going on. Like,
yeah.
nobody want to fight anymore. What happened to what? Like,
Well, having to put
you
them
know,
gloves on or something, right?
yeah. And when I was little, and we was living in Bubby Square, that was a thing. Oh, let's bring it to Johnny Dukes. That's what
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that was the the coach that ran that gym at that time. And there's a lot of kids that I grew up with. We'll fight, and then instead of fighting there, let's go to the let's take it to the ring. Nobody wasn't getting shot and stabbed,
yeah.
until things really started changing. You know what I mean? But
So that
yeah,
that 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 touches on a point, like you said, that's a bar that you said nobody knows how to take L's nowadays.
nah,
Because we're conditioned for some reason to think that what we might see on like rap videos or different social media that you're going to be winning every day. And
Yeah.
we know that as parents, you're not going to win every day. Like
No, you're not.
there's some
You're
days you're
definitely
gonna, yeah, not with kids, not being married, not with anything. Now, my thing is that you said something crucial. Well, you said when you used to be in those predicaments, you guys would bring it to Johnny Dukes. You guys would bring it to a coach, right? So I've heard of Johnny Dukes. You would bring him to a coach and handle it in a safe way, in a safe manner. My
not.
thought is, or my question is, who do you think could be like the next Johnny Dukes that I'm not saying can save our whole culture or everybody, but who could be somebody that bring these kids back to a place, or adults to a place of, hey, let's learn how to take these losses versus let's go kill each other. And then now you got a bigger loss on your plate now because now you're in jail for life. Like, who do you think, or do you think it's possible to replicate that?
You mean like somewhere in Harford County area, like the whole
Yeah.
I mean you got a lot of young uh positive guys out now. That's they're doing it their way, you know.
Hmm.
There's definitely not gonna never be another Johnny Duke, but
Yeah.
you have you know, people sometimes don't relate to older people. This generation gap, they you know, they don't really relate to older. If it's not what's going on now, you know, if you're not somebody I've seen on IG or social media, the majority of the time they're not going to listen to you because everything's about, you know, material, you know, you know, they want to say, oh, that's how he. I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to the dude that drives this car, or you know, he wears this watch, or you know, I'm gonna listen to him, and they're gonna go off what the knowledge that they can. But it's like it's weird because now people forgot about those guys that you probably knew that didn't have nothing together. You know what I mean? But they always gave good advice. You know, they
Yeah.
seen you, they see you got potential, and they messed up their life. So those be the ones that usually drop the jewels. But
Hmm.
far as far as somebody that could step up, you know, be a leader in the community, I think it would. I don't think it'd just be one person. It'd probably take like a few, like maybe 5 or 10, you know,
Mm.
people that's out here that's making moves, that's doing things, you know, far in the quote, like a lot. There's a lot of young kids that's into the clothing industry right now out here, and hip hop as well. And it might take some of them dudes to, you know, to change things up and you know to reach these kids. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the only thing. But they too, you know, like I feel I feel like a lot of especially brothers, you know what I'm saying, we need therapy, especially males, young men.
Yes. Yes.
And we just had a lot of we have a lot of tragedy in our lives, post traumatic stress, things that we don't know about, and we camouflage it with, you know, smoking every day, drinking every day, some pop pills or whatever, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
just different things. And for that, you know, first probably do those things, and then you probably can go help other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
So
lot, you
okay.
know what I mean? It's a
Okay.
lot.
Yep.
There's not, you know, these kids are way more advanced than I was, you know. So, you know, they're not gonna always listen to you. There's some that do, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, you know, and hopefully they're telling their friends because they're at a young age to where they're trying to make a difference, you know.
I
But
think that's key, right? Right. I'm a big advocate for therapy. I
yeah,
take therapy myself. I
yeah,
tell people like you said, get therapy first
yeah,
before you start running, because you could be running just straight off trauma.
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
can be on that whole kick. I don't need nobody.
yeah,
I'm my own man. I'm
yeah.
self-made. And you'd be like, it sounds good until you realize you're going to burn out, and you're going to
Oh,
burn
of
out
course.
really, really, really fast. And that type of burnout for someone who hasn't had therapy, it's almost like you don't recover. Like you become this person, like you said, you become like some of the OGs that messed up their lives, and they just
Yeah,
realized they probably could still get life under control, or it takes some work, but mentally they're just so shot and so burnt out. They're like, this is just who I am now. So
Yeah.
this is it.
I'm I know a lot. I'm 45, so
Oh wow. I didn't
yeah,
know that. Oh wow.
yeah, I'm 45. So I think when I turned, what was it, maybe I think I turned maybe 37 or 38, I started getting therapy, and that helped out a lot. I had a lot of childhood trauma, so that helped out a lot. I learned about myself. I learned how to love, you know what I
Mm.
mean? And that's why I have kids now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I was
Yeah.
young, I wasn't trying to have no kids,
No,
man. Like,
no. Hey, hey, good for
yeah.
them too, though, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Good for I
You know,
started to
it's God's plan, so it was when he wanted to happen, you know what I mean? So
yeah, man.
yeah, man.
I tell people now, man, um my stepdaughter, she's older. So she met me when I didn't have therapy. I wasn't a nutcase or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to love
Yep.
um
Yep.
from a deep place. And then my youngest, who's 3, I started therapy when she was 1. And I'm like, I just want to tell her one day, you're getting a whole different dad.
Yeah.
Because man, if I would have had all that trauma just and still working through things,
Yep.
if I would have had all that trauma bottled in me, you wouldn't receive love or that care. Like you said something that was really important. You said I'm around them.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that. So my last question, you gave us a lot of tips and bars in here is if you could leave this generation, this culture, or just anybody in general, but more so this generation, if you could leave them with words to think about or words to start to live by, like what would that be?
Mm. Uh, well, I'm gonna say seek God,
Mm-hmm.
and then from there, work on yourself and love your family.
Mm,
And then you could go after whatever you're trying to go after to accomplish other things.
mm.
Um,
Seek
that's
God, work on yourself, love your family. Are you gonna make that a shirt?
nah. I just said it. Nah, I just said it because I mean, me personally, that's what we're lacking. Not to be super spiritual, but I feel like we're lacking God presence. We're
Mm-hmm.
lacking acknowledge. We're not acknowledging Him anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody want to go their own way and do it. That's why I think there's so much madness in the world now. And
Absolutely.
all this is written though. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? All of it's written. So you just got to play your part. Everybody's playing their part in this world. But
Mm.
for us, we need to, like it says, love yourself like you love yourself like you can love your neighbor. So
Mm-hmm.
always they love your
Love
neighbor like
neighbor
you
like you
love.
love yourself. Yep.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
So I think if we do more of that, and also try to get rid of some of the, I don't know, wherever these emotions are coming from right now. Everything's so emotional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know why though? Is like you said in the beginning, well, 2 things. No one's seeking God anymore. Like that's the
Yeah,
person who can help you with the emotions. And then people have more start taking therapy, but if you're not in a place where someone can hear you and help you regulate your emotions, you're gonna destroy yourself. And then after that, you're gonna destroy somebody else.
correct, correct.
So I like that. Seek God, work on yourself, and love others. If you guys see Marlon come out with a shirt that says that, I'll be the first one to get that one, the size large, if it does.
If
If
I
it
do that, definitely, man. I got
I
you.
got that. But Marlon, man, I'm so grateful that you came on today. Thank you for taking your time out to do this. You're a stand-up guy, and I'm gonna keep pointing people towards your page because you have a lot of good information that you share. And we need to realize that social media is not bad. Social media can be used for whatever we want it to be, and you use yours to better people. So thank you very much, Marlon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, my brother.
All right, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.